A family in mourning.
He was a piece of my heart. Now they took a piece of my heart.
A Windsorite's trip home to Lebanon turns deadly amid Israeli airstrikes. Downtown debate. 2 years on, how's that multi-million-dollar plan for the Corps going? And on fire on the ice. The Spitfires undefeated in the postseason, pushing through round 2.
CTV News with Stephanie Mazzotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Stephanie is off tonight. I'm Travis Fortnum. Tonight, a Windsor family is sharing their grief after they say a local loved one spending time in Lebanon was killed by Israeli airstrikes. CTV's Robert Lothian joins us. Robert, you spoke with the family today. What do we know about this man?
Yeah, well, Travis, the siblings of Hassan Haider say he was the type of person who was always looking to help others. He regularly returned to his home in Lebanon, tending to his family, taking care of his horses, and never passing up an opportunity to help a stranger. It was his relentless want to help that his family says left him in the line of an Israeli drone. Siblings of Windsor's Hassan Haider remember their brother as a devoted father of 5 and a lover of his horses.
He had a dream of having the biggest horse farm in Lebanon. He risked his life to care for his animals that he loved and not leave them behind.
Haider, a Lebanese Canadian, was killed last Thursday by what his family says was part of an Israeli strike. Caring for his land, they say he heard the cries of an injured person and ran to help. They say that's when he was shot by a drone.
They found him shot in the head with so many other injuries, immediately dead. Still at his own property.
Moving to Canada in his teens, Haider came to run an auto shop in Windsor, often returning to his home in Lebanon to take care of his wife and 5 children.
His goal and his dream was to retire at the age of 40. He died at the age of 38. He didn't even get to see that day.
Israel has launched massive attacks on parts of Lebanon in an ongoing conflict with Hezbollah militants. Whether Lebanon was included in a fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran has been heavily disputed.
Maybe did not start with my brother, and I'm sure it's not going to end with my brother unless we put an end to this.
The Haider family is now calling for the Canadian government to play a larger role in facilitating peace and standing up for citizens whose families still live in the war-torn Middle East.
Which government do you want to be? A government that I look up to and always talk about it in good pride? Or a government that I'm going to keep stabbing me in the back thinking that I'm going to just take it for it?
We need all Canadians to stand up and say, enough is enough. We can't just watch our citizens being assassinated by other countries and do nothing.
For now, Haider's siblings say they hope to continue to share his legacy and cherish their memories.
We were split souls. We never separated, you know? So my memories is all around him. Like, he was the closest to me in my family. Like I told you, we were like twins, basically.
Fortunately, the Haiders say Hassan's wife and children were not injured. Our newsroom has reached out to Global Affairs Canada for comments, but we did not receive a response by airtime. Travis.
Right. Thank you, Robert. That's a very important story for us. Robert Lothian with our top story tonight. Thank you. Well, after several people were shot outside a Windsor bowling alley in the summer of 2022, charges of attempted murder making their way to court today. The identity of the shooter is at issue, although, as CTV's Michelle Molesky reports, friends of the accused are testifying against him.
On April 9th, 2022, 5 people were injured after a shooting outside this East End bowling alley. Fernando Ratcliffe pleaded guilty Monday to 5 counts of attempted murder, discharging a firearm, and being in a vehicle with a loaded handgun. Joshua Fryer, now 23 years old, testified Monday. Less than 15 minutes before the shooting, someone jumped him inside the bowling alley. The ensuing fight left him with a gash on his forehead, so his group left. Fryer got into his truck and drove to the front to pick up his friends. His girlfriend at the time got in the front seat. His brother and Ratcliffe got into the back, he told the judge. As he was driving away, Fryer testified Ratcliffe opened fire from the back seat through his open driver's side window. I could see the gun beside my head, Fryer testified. There were gun shells flying through the air. My ears were ringing, he said. Fryer told the court while he didn't specifically see Ratcliffe with his finger on the trigger, Fryer could see that neither his stepbrother nor his girlfriend were holding a gun. By process of elimination, Fryer testified, the shooter had to be Ratcliffe. Fryer has previously pleaded guilty to being in a vehicle with a loaded handgun. His 8-month house arrest sentence has been served. His brother and ex-girlfriend are both expected to testify during the 5-day trial this week at Superior Court. Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me for our first look at the weather from the top of the Bell building tonight. Gary, not a bad day to be outside.
Oh, great day. If you love the feel of summer well in advance, today's your day. And temperature-wise, we will still be looking at mid-20s, feeling like the low 30s. Yes, a humidex value of 30 to 31 recorded late this afternoon. Now, we are in the lull, but a storm that's moving through Wisconsin into upper Michigan will drag a cold front through southwestern Ontario, and that means late tonight into early tomorrow morning, showers and maybe even some thunderstorm activity. And yes, it's windy right now. It will be windy tonight into tomorrow morning with wet weather on the way and, of course, that thunderstorm risk. I'll break down the complete weather story shortly. For now, I'll send it back inside to you at the desk. Travis?
Thank you, Gary. 3 federal by-elections are underway, which could clinch a parliamentary majority for the governing Liberals. They only need to win 1 to do so, something most political analysts expect them to accomplish. With more on how Canadians perceive that possibility, here's CTV's Mike LeCouture.
For some people voting in today's by-elections, federal politics is about the person they want to send to Ottawa.
She knows what the Scarborough Southwest needs. It's not like somebody that's coming in from another area. So it's very important that we have somebody representing our needs.
That candidate is the former deputy leader of the Ontario NDP, who's now running for the Liberals.
The Liberal Party of Canada is a big tent where I see myself voicing my concerns of the people of Scarborough Southwest.
Now, the new leader of the federal NDP is questioning the size of that big tent, given the Liberals welcomed 5 opposition MPs in as many months, including the latest, who held social conservative views.
I think the Liberal tent is stretched so far now that the fabric must be, I don't know, is it spandex? It is something very stretchy when you can encompass Marilyn Gladue in a caucus with progressives in the Liberal Party.
Now, for some voters, the issues are more important than the politics around them.
Affordability, social issues, things that include everybody, cost of living.
Key issues for all parties, but on Parliament Hill, the Conservatives were criticizing how the Liberals set themselves up to secure a majority.
The government seems committed to their strategy of backroom deals.
Now, 2 of the 3 by-elections are taking place in ridings that have historically been Liberal strongholds, meaning Prime Minister Carney is likely to get a majority less than a year after voters handed him a minority mandate. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
So what do the outcomes of those by-elections, or a potential majority government, mean to Windsor-Essex? Well, experts say it could bring our blue wave into focus. The last federal election saw the ridings in Windsor-Essex all go to the Conservatives, shutting the region out of government following Sarnia area MP Marilyn Gladue's crossing to the Liberals to secure riding benefits. CTV News asked if Windsor-Essex could be left out in the cold with its MPs sitting in opposition. University of Windsor political science analyst Lydia Milgen says the region's geopolitical position means it won't be far from the government's mind.
What people in Windsor could be comforted by is that we are a strategic area. We certainly are front and center in terms of the trade battles. And, that's still going to, regardless of who's the MP, that still has to be a focus for whichever government is in power.
To municipal politics now, a potential change in LaSalle could reshape how residents shop on statutory holidays. Council tomorrow will discuss a recommendation to allow most spots to stay open when they typically need individual permission under current rules. CTV's Chris Campbell joins us with more on this. Chris, not everyone is convinced it's the right move.
That's right, Travis. Right now, businesses in LaSalle have to apply for permission to open on statutory holidays, something town officials say can be confusing and difficult to enforce. Now, a proposed bylaw would allow most stores to open if they choose. But as we found out, some residents say holidays should still be a day off.
Shopping on holidays in LaSalle could soon look very different with the proposed bylaw that would allow most retail businesses to open their doors year-round.
Our larger stores like the Dares, Freshco, Windsor Crossings, they've all went through this process before, and so I think this, like I said, kind of creates fairness for all businesses, because some of the other businesses who aren't working in a large franchise or large corporation may not know that they have the ability to go through this process. So it really is creating fairness across the municipality.
Mayor Crystal Meloche says the current system, where businesses apply one at a time for exemptions, can leave both owners and customers guessing.
It still gives businesses that flexibility to decide what they want to do and what they don't want to do, but it takes the guesswork out of it for everybody.
Right now, businesses pay a $220 fee and go through a public process to open on holidays, but the town says that system is time-consuming and doesn't always cover administrative costs.
I don't mind opening on statutory holidays, but I think that people should be able to have an option.
At Lube King Express on Malden, local business owner Mo Alatif says they can see both sides.
I usually give them the time off, but if they do work on a stat holiday, I definitely pay them extra. Thank you. I usually compensate them for working a stat holiday, but I never force anybody to work on those days, because you should be able to rest on these days.
And while the proposal would give businesses the option to open, some residents say just because you can doesn't mean you should.
I think that the people should have a chance to have the holiday off. They work all week, they deserve it, and we can wait and get our stuff on the next day. Doesn't have to get it on a holiday.
I don't think they should be open. I think everybody deserves a break with their family.
Everybody can have time with their families and just relax and all that. We're in such a busy, everybody's in such a rush. We need time to relax and all that.
Under the proposal, Christmas Day would likely remain the only mandatory retail closure. Council is expected to discuss the idea Tuesday.
If approved, the bylaw would still need final sign-off from council before any changes take effect. Meantime, the debate continues over convenience and whether some days should still be kept for time off. We've reached out to the Windsor-Essex Chamber of Commerce for comment, but have not heard back as of this broadcast. Travis?
Thank you very much for this, Chris. And we want to know what you think. Our question of the day today, should businesses have the option to open on stat holidays? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. On Friday, we asked, do you support the proposed forensic research facility in Kingsville? More than 4,000 people voted and 80% say no. In Ford City, candles on a birthday cake could be behind a fire that displaced 4 people. Windsor fire crews called to a home on Drouillard Road near Reginald Street Sunday night around 10, saying it was an accidental blaze and noting birthday candles were burning at the time. Flames spread quickly, causing an estimated $250,000 in damage. No one was hurt. Windsor police are trying to track down 2 men after they say a road rage confrontation turned violent earlier this month. There are 2 vehicles linked to the suspect. Here's the first. It was just before 5 p.m. on April 2nd, police say, on Devonshire Road. Police say a driver was called out for aggressive driving, and that quickly spiraled. Words turned into a fight. Then a second driver jumped in. Investigators say both men assaulted the victim and took off before officers got there. The victim was rushed to hospital with serious injuries. Police believe the 2 suspects know each other and say they were driving these 2 vehicles, a black Hyundai Elantra and a white Dodge Caravan. Both are now wanted for assault causing bodily harm. Police also releasing this video as they try to track down the person they say smashed the window of an East End business. They say 2 weeks ago, a suspect used large rocks to shatter the front window of a business on Wyandotte Street East in the middle of the night, then fled through a nearby parking lot. Windsor police providing this video of the suspect described as slender, wearing a hoodie, jogging pants, and a face covering. It happened just after 1:30 a.m. on March 27th. Investigators are now asking anyone in the area to check security or dash cam video between midnight and 1:30 that night and give them a call. An arrest has been made after an impaired driving crash in Leamington. OPP were called to Danforth Avenue near Oak Street around 2:30 yesterday morning. It's there, officers say, a 35-year-old Leamington man got in a wreck and now faces multiple charges. Those include impaired driving, having a blood alcohol level over the legal limit, and dangerous operation. His license has been suspended for 90 days and his vehicle has been impounded. No word on any injuries. And police have also laid charges in a separate investigation in Tecumseh. They were called to Walker Road just before 6 Friday evening after a traffic complaint. Police say that investigation ended with a 20-year-old Windsor man under arrest, charged with operating a vehicle while impaired by alcohol or drugs. OPP say his license has been suspended for 90 days and the vehicle impounded for 7. He's set to appear in a Windsor court in May. Police continue to urge anyone who suspects impaired driving to call 911. Inside City Hall today, Council receiving an update on the multi-million-dollar plan to strengthen the core 2 years after its launch. Stakeholders say downtown Windsor is cleaner and safer, but has the plan done enough? CTV's Bob Belichico joins us with more from City Hall tonight. Bob, this is a big topic.
Yeah, you got that right. Definitely a big topic and a robust discussion here at City Hall today. Now, the chair of the downtown BAA stressed the importance of consolidating services in order to best help the people and to lighten the optics of the issue in the downtown core. He also suggests that the Strengthen the Core initiative is at a crossroads.
We have the tools. We just need to have the will to move it forward.
Downtown BIA Chair Chris McLeod says the Strengthen the Core plan is working. 32 new businesses have opened up since the initiative was introduced in the spring of 2024, and many family-friendly events have been enjoyed. But according to him, the lived experience continues to be a challenge.
What we have today is not tenable for our downtown. You can't have a cohabitation where one party negatively impacts another.
McLeod appreciates the work and positive impacts of Strengthen the Core, but feels the city is at a crossroad in the efforts to revitalize the downtown core. He suggested the centralization of services, including the moving of the downtown mission from its current location on Olette Avenue.
It's going to take council, and it's going to take the organizations to work together, and it's going to take, people listening to people and working together to say, hey, listen, there's a better way. There's a better way to deliver services. There's a better way to take care of people. And that's what this is all about.
McLeod is accepting of the city's exploration of repurposing Windsor Arena in a plan to expand the H4 hub to help address homelessness, mental health, and addictions.
So if my choice is that I either continue to suffer across my downtown with all of the services being spread out, or I get 80% of downtown that I can work on revitalizing and 20% needs to bear the brunt of those services, then I'm willing to accept that.
Councillor Ronaldo Agostino put forth a recommendation plus administration reporting back with options for the centralization of services.
Not asking for more money. I'm just shaking the trees and asking that we change the way we do things, because I believe, and the businesses of downtown believe, and the residents of downtown believe, that there's a better way to do things.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
As Bob reported, the BIA wants the mission moved off Olette as part of the plan, and the shelter's executive director says moving is their plan once the city's H4 finds a permanent place.
We haven't really, been looking at into too many other locations, or not too far into it, just because we didn't want to make a move and then move again.
In 2024, the city ended talks to buy land on Wellington Avenue for the hub due to costs. The mission's Olette site was only ever intended to be temporary. If the H4 expands to the Windsor Arena, the mission could look to move closer.
I would assume the goal would be to get us closer to that location, possibly move into that location to help with the services that they're looking to do at the old Windsor Arena. I don't know. Again, I don't know. I would love to be, obviously we would love to be part of whatever the solution is.
How do you feel about things downtown or otherwise in your community? Share your feedback or a great news tip. Text us at 10400. Also at City Council today, changes to governance of Transit Windsor approved. What does that mean and when does it take effect? Those details and more over on ctvnewswindsor.ca. Still ahead, the Pope responds to a social media call out from the U.S. president. Stay with us.
CTV News Windsor has launched a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local news. By signing up, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Sarnia's police chief is vowing to catch the person responsible in the shooting death of a 20-year-old Sarnia man last Friday. CTV's Brian Bicknell has more.
To Mr. Doe directly, I say that every time you go to sleep, know that there is a real possibility of being awakened to the light of a tactical team. You will be arrested, and what should be occurring now is call a lawyer and turn yourself in.
Some pretty strong words there from Sarnia Police Chief Derek Davis to Kiwa Chin Do. He is 24 years old, of London, and he is the last remaining suspect to be arrested in connection with the shooting incident at Lambton College Friday night. Police say Doe and 3 others had been out to a number of establishments in Sarnia before they ended up at the Lion's Den pub on the Lambton College campus. Inside the pub is where they got into an altercation with a number of other people. That altercation led outside, and that is where Doe is accused of firing the weapon that killed 20-year-old Dane Nisbet. 3 others were left with some serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police now relying on law enforcement agencies from across the province to apprehend and arrest Doe. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
New research published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal today confirms cancer is still the leading cause of death in Canada, and 250,000 new cases will be detected this year. But the study also highlights a path of hope that these rates are declining across the country. CTV's Alison Bamford has been looking into the report.
Thousands of patients step foot inside the Saskatoon Cancer Centre every year, including those who are seeking treatment for the very first time. A new study estimates there will be more than 250,000 new cancer diagnoses and nearly 90,000 cancer-related deaths in Canada this year, while a staggering 42% of Canadians are expected to be diagnosed with the disease at some point in their life. Still, there's hope in the numbers. Incidence and mortality rates are declining in most cancers, including leukemia, colorectal, bladder, and lung cancer, although it still remains the most prevalent type.
We're seeing, the advancements in prevention, early detection, and treatments really having an impact for people across Canada.
This month, Saskatchewan made the move to help reduce the wait times for breast cancer screenings, adding to its fleet of mobile mammogram units that serve remote communities. Despite the progress in many areas, the study shows rates of some cancers are rising, including cervical, head, and neck, linked to HPV. Experts say improving vaccination rates could help stop these types of cancers before they start. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
In Lakeshore, a councillor is hoping to help get more life-saving defibrillators out in the community. Councillor Larissa Vogler says she'll ask council tomorrow to reimburse businesses and community groups up to 75% of the cost of an AED, the goal being to get more of them put up and make these devices available 24/7, especially in rural areas where emergency response times can stretch up to 20 minutes. Vogler says every minute matters, with survival rates dropping by as much as 10% for every minute without defibrillation. She argues more publicly accessible AEDs could save lives, especially with Lakeshore's aging population. If approved, the program would be funded through a community benefits reserve with a $10,000 cap. Across our region, time is running out to hand off your old recycling bins. The Essex-Windsor Solid Waste Authority is urging residents to drop off old red and blue boxes and incompatible carts before Wednesday. The free take-back program is aimed at keeping these bulky plastic items out of local landfills and back into the recycling loop. Under Ontario's new system, only the larger blue carts used by GFL will be picked up, meaning many older bins won't make the cut. So far, more than 6 tons, that's over 13,000 pounds, have already been collected under the new recycling system. Residents can drop their old empty bins off at depots in Windsor, Kingsville, and Essex. This spring, we'll see a new pier open in the West End, boasting views of both international bridges.
Because of the weather being up and down at this time of year, we have to wait until the concrete can be poured and finish some of the landscaping and then do an official grand opening.
The Queen's Dock Cultural Pier is nearing completion. At the bottom of Mill Street, visitors will be able to walk out on the dock extended over the Detroit River. The pier's launch coincides with the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. The price tag is about $2.5 million.
So often federal tax dollars are not spent in Windsor, Essex. So this is an opportunity for us to seize upon federal tax money and get to enjoy it for years and years to come in a public area, completely open to everyone.
To the Spits now, with Connor Walton capping off a spirited comeback to beat the Flint Firebirds Sunday night. Walton's goal was scored with exactly 1 minute left in the third period. The Spits trailed 5-3, but goals by Caden Harvey and Jack Nesbitt set up Walton's heroics. Windsor now has a 2-0 lead in their best-of-7 Western Conference semifinals. The series shifts to Flint for Game 3 tomorrow night. Walton says his winner was the biggest goal of his career to date.
Oh, man, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even know what I was doing. I sort of blacked out after I scored. Just saw Dave, and I was like, let's effing go. So it was good.
I loved it. It was really fun. And, I mean, just the crowd was unreal. I love when they boo when there should have been a call, no call. But I think the refs heard it, and, yeah, we're happy about that. That's all I'll say.
And this weekend saw dozens of student-built robots from across the province compete right here in Windsor, looking to prove whose creation was the best.
When you get back, you have 5 minutes to fix it before you go back out. So, it's working under stress, working as a team, and a lot of the time, being a leader and being able to guide the people around you to work at the fastest pace they can.
Hundreds of students participating in the Windsor-Essex Great Lakes first robotics competition. The goal was to design a robot able to scoop a ball and fire it into a net. 35 teams spent months tuning and tweaking designs. The winner moves on to the provincial championships next weekend.
Developing a passion for STEM is something. Like, for them to understand that they wrote a few lines of code and the robot did something specific because they told it, and that's like a spark that just, it's like, honestly, it's like nuclear fission almost, and it just grows from there.
Canada's main stock index edged higher, and the price of oil closed nearly $100 per barrel. In Toronto, the TSX gained 183 points, while in New York, the Dow added 302, and the Nasdaq is up 281. The Canadian dollar gained 0.07 of a cent, and on commodity markets, gold lost $20 an ounce, and oil added $2.51 a barrel. After the break and weather, a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, this time by the United States.
The Backyard Refresh, the $15,000 Backyard Refresh contest, powered by Plantscape Windsor, is back. Head to ctvwindsor.ca, upload your picture of your backyard that maybe could use an upgrade. We'll pick one person, one family will benefit. Imagine it being yours.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
I don't know if that picture does it justice, Gary, but it kind of felt like summer for a little bit out there today.
Yes, with humidex values in the upper 20s, now close to about 30, 31. through parts of southern southwestern Ontario. It could be a record-setting day in some parts. Right now, we're a couple of degrees off that mark, but still incredibly warm for an April 13th in our neck of the woods, so to speak. Reached a high so far of 27.4. The record is 29.4, set back in 1941. The average is just shy of 13, so wow. 16.6 degrees Celsius is the lowest temperature so far today. The average is 2.5, call it 3 degrees Celsius. So we are in, statistically speaking, a whole different world. Air quality is good. It's a mixture of sun and cloud, at least through to dusk, and then things get interesting around midnight. 27 degrees is 81 Fahrenheit, a mixture of sun and cloud at the airport in Windsor. 26, similar sky conditions, is 79 degrees Fahrenheit. It feels like 30 in Chatham-Kent, 31 in Windsor. Meanwhile, it's cooler further north. Goddard's feels like about 21. Wyerton feels like 9 degrees Celsius, just to give you an idea. A lot of orange on the map of North America, right across the Great Lakes. We are in this warm, humid air mass, and that's why temperatures have risen so high today. It's quiet now, but things will get interesting, say around 11. First brush with showers, and then the cold front sweeps through. I think the worst of it stays right over Lake Huron. But we will be getting a third wave by Wednesday, and that is likely late in the afternoon to wallop us with some thunderstorm, potentially, at least showers. So, late tonight, approaching midnight rain into tomorrow morning pre-dawn. About 10 to 20 millimeters is possible, so it's a light to light moderate event. There could be embedded thunderstorms. That's a possibility. Temperatures will still be hovering around 21 and cloudy by 8 p.m. By midnight, with increasing cloud and potential for showers. It feels like about 22 and the temperature is 17. Take a look at our Enercare Siles 7-day forecast. 25 tomorrow. Keep the umbrella nearby. Thundery weather morning and afternoon possible. Showers Wednesday, Thursday, 22s apiece. 20 on Friday, showers. And then 23, 12, and 11 Saturday, Sunday, wet and cooling off. That's a look at your weather.
Thank you, Gary. Mounting international concern over the effect of the American military blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, which has taken effect. It stretches all the way down Iran's coastline, with access in and out of the Iranian ports restricted. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver tackles the new threats from the U.S. and Iran as the blockade takes effect.
Oil prices surged Monday above $100 a barrel as U.S. Navy ships began blocking the Strait of Hormuz, stopping all vessels from entering or exiting Iranian ports.
We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing.
Since the war began, Iran has heavily restricted access to the Strait of Hormuz, a key waterway through which 20% of traded oil normally passes. President Donald Trump says the U.S. doesn't need the strait and that his latest move in the region will get Iran back to the negotiating table after talks broke down this weekend over Iran's refusal to end its nuclear program.
Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. And we agreed to a lot of things, but they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal.
The new U.S. blockade seeks to starve Iran of an estimated $200 million a day in oil reserves, a form of economic pressure experts say could backfire. Iran has threatened to strike any vessel that it believes is violating the 2-week ceasefire.
Absolutely, we're escalating the conflict. And that is really the intent, escalation. But to what point?
Experts say the blockade likely goes against international law, and several U.S. allies, including Spain, France, Turkey, and the UK, have criticized Trump's move.
My guide from the start of this conflict has always been our national interest. That's why we stayed out of the war and why we continue to stay out of the war.
Economists say Canadians can expect to see higher inflation over the coming months, even if this fight over the strait is somehow solved within days. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
And Pope Leo responding to criticism by Donald Trump. The church leader has been a vocal critic of the Iran war and has demanded that political leaders stop and negotiate peace. Today, the pontiff said he doesn't fear the Trump administration and the appeals for peace are rooted in the gospel.
I basically said that the message of the church, my message, the message of the gospel, blessed are the peacemakers. I do not look at my role as being politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loud against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states, to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed. And I think someone has to stand up and say, there's a better way to do this.
Posted a message on Truth Social last night saying in part, quote, Leo should get his act together as Pope, use common sense, stop catering to the radical left and focus on being a great Pope, not a politician. It's hurting him very badly, and more importantly, it's hurting the Catholic Church.
Rotary is a rare repeat winner at Augusta.
Just ahead, a Rory repeat as McIlroy gets another green jacket. Stay with us. Rory McIlroy topped the competition to secure his second Masters victory in as many years.
Rory is a rare repeat winner at Augusta.
McIlroy finished one stroke ahead of Scottie Scheffler, the world's top-ranked golfer, to earn his second green jacket. The 36-year-old from Northern Ireland is the first person to win back-to-back Masters titles since Tiger Woods in 2002.
I thought it was so difficult to win last year because of trying to win the Masters and the Grand Slam, and then this year I realized it's just really difficult to win the Masters. I tried to convince myself it was both, but yeah, just incredible. You know, I obviously did the bulk of my work on Thursday and Friday, and you know, I don't think I would have believed anyone if they said to me, you know, all you have to do is shoot even par for the weekend and you'll win.
Nick Taylor was the top Canadian at the tournament. He finished tied for 41st place. Off the coast of Nova Scotia, lobster season is off to a slow start. Some fishers are worried about ocean temperatures, but as CTV's Paul Hollingsworth explains, that's just one part of bigger problems.
Lobster season is underway off Nova Scotia's eastern shore. This week, Jamie Osborne laid 250 traps. Osborne worries the water temperature in the North Atlantic is still too low for good fishing.
The catch is not very good. Everybody will tell you the same thing.
A bad catch results in low supply, which usually increases the price of lobster. This week, it's selling for as high as $16 a pound. This food expert says there are other issues casting a dark cloud over the lobster industry.
It's beyond problematic.
The war with Iran continues to drive up global fuel prices. Fuel surcharges are now adding to the overall cost of transportation.
An initial impact of higher freight rates by the range of 25 to 30%.
The lobster industry was hoping for smooth sailing after the removal of China's 25% tariff. According to Stuart Lamont, the financial landscape is now arguably getting worse.
Trucking, transportation, packaging, there's very little that hasn't been negatively impacted in the last months to 6 weeks.
Those added fees may drive up prices even higher. Lobster is Nova Scotia's top seafood export. For those who work in the industry, when it comes to covering expenses, the challenge is how much to charge without charging too much and risk turning off customers.
We've had prices in recent years which weren't acceptable to the harvesting sector.
Sylvain Charlebois says because lobster is a specialty item, people around the world will still likely pay a lot to get it.
The problem are costs for harvesters. That's the problem.
He fears those who work at sea and catch lobster will take the biggest financial hit because of the high cost of fuel. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. The St. Clair Center for the Arts transforms into the ultimate happy hour with the first ever Hatsquarade for Healthcare. Every dollar raised helps purchase priority equipment for our hospital. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner. Melanie, you have more for us on the Windsor perspective as the Liberal government pushes for a majority in Ottawa.
That's right. So there's been an unprecedented flurry of floor crossings to bring the Liberals to the brink of a majority. And it's that political position University of Windsor political science professor Jamie Essex says could tempt one of the area's Conservative MPs to jump ship.
The advantage to maybe switching parties here is that there's not a lot of people that you're up against, right? It's kind of a clearer field to move into, right? And sort of make your name if you switch over. Like I said, though, the question is whether people want to reward you after the fact the next time they go to vote.
We got more details online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we also have a story online, Melanie, about the return of a popular youth education program in Chatham-Kent.
Yeah, so the annual Racing Against Drugs program is gearing up this week. The RCMP-developed drug and alcohol awareness program uses the excitement of auto racing to deliver important health and safety messages to youth. Students from 33 schools across Chatham-Kent are taking part. The event runs from today until April 17th at Erickson Arena. And in our social spotlight, this brings new meaning to the saying, "I love you to the moon and back." The adorable reunion of Artemis II astronaut Christina Cook and her dog Sadie. The dog got the zoomies when her owner returned after the 10-day trip around the moon, Travis.
That is so sweet, and I'm so glad they shared that because that's such a human moment, right? And it's one of those small things you wouldn't think about with them being so far away.
You can just see the excitement on the dog's little tail wagging.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine most people who are watching haven't been that far away, but if they do have a cute video of their dog or something they want to share with us, let them know how they can do that.
Absolutely. They can email it to us at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
Thank you, Melanie, and that's what's happening now.
Perfetto. Yeah, it's ready to go.
And still ahead, some old-fashioned family cooking made with love. One Windsorite shares his Nona with the world. Some nice fluffy clouds. You know, it was so windy this morning. You could actually see the clouds moving. That's so cool when that happens.
Yeah, it's likely to stay that way tonight. A good southwesterly flow, so it's windy and it's warm air that's on the move. And those temperatures are real projections. Today, reaching a high of about 27 and feeling like low 30s, 30 to 31. Tomorrow, a bit cooler in some areas, but I still think 24 to 25 could be reachable. Showers in the morning, risk of thunderstorms, more rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we'll see temperatures in the low 20s Wednesday through to Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday will be more seasonal, 12 and 11 degrees. So the surge is with us for a while, but it's not going to stay this way forever.
But a taste of what's to come. And speaking of a taste, by the way, you put together a lovely story for us for our final story tonight. So, Windsorites love their families. They love great food. And now there's a duo in South Windsor who's combining the two and becoming a big hit on social media. Meet Justin Borelli and his 90-year-old Nona.
Yeah. Look.
I love you.
Yeah. This is my buddy right here.
Yeah.
Over the past year, the love Justin Borelli and his Nona share for cooking has become an Instagram sensation. Their Instagram page alone, showing authentic Italian cuisine, has 64,000 followers and counting, and they have ambitions for the future.
He asked, are we going to make a cookbook with all your recipes?
pretty steep.
I think that's the next project.
We can try.
We can try.
Okay.
All recipes, Treviso, Veneto, maybe a few calabresi in there.
Nona, now in her 90s, has dementia, but there is tremendous love and support from family and friends, and now thousands more online.
Perfetto? Yeah? It's ready to go? Okay, I'm going to do the blockade here.
I don't get it. Good.
Okay.
Please.
It's always been more about kinship, family roots, and love than cooking for these two, and it seems people from all walks of life can relate.
But I was noticing that her recipes were, no one was going to carry these things on if I didn't spend that time with her and learn these things. And these were things that, from my childhood, I would look forward to on Christmas. I would look forward to on Easter, and the fact that those might not be there down the road if we didn't learn these things from her, that's why I started doing this, yeah.
And so the cooking, sharing, and the bonding continues for this dynamic duo, and the extended family and friends keeps growing well beyond the kitchen.
That's so nice, and it is so true. It's so important. You want to learn these recipes from your family while you can.
Yeah, it's about legacy. It's about passing on. It's about honoring those who've come before you, and it's a loving story. They're a wonderful family. I had great food. I felt like part of the Borelli clan that day, and they're just fantastic. It's a wonderful story.
And now we can learn those recipes too.
That's
so that's
right.
Perfect. That's great. On behalf of our dedicated news team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to CTV News. Windsor.ca.
That's it right there. Carlisle Passette will be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11 with Gary.
It's because it's hot.